come back to that. So when we talk about Paleolithic emotions, we're talking about our way of reaction, our way of response, and the way we think. When we say medieval institutions, like, of course, our institutions, whatever kind of progress, whatever kind of new things are added into an institution is with respect to what is happening around us, right? Do you agree? Yes. So now, when an institution comes up to a standard, suddenly technology runs away, and then again you have to keep up to that pace. Again, technology runs away. Fine, मतलब अभी आप जिस चीज को handle कर रहे, the things that you are handling right now are actually now obsolete. Something new has cropped up. That's God-like technology, right? That is what this quotation meant, nothing else. Everything that is happening in the cyber world nowadays, if you see so many scams, so many problems, right? What do you think if we talk about digital arrest, right? What do you think is the problem with digital arrest? Why are people getting digitally arrested? What do you think? What is the reason? There is always someone one step ahead of you. And of course, you're given to fear. You are scared. They say that if you will not give me your, if you'll not, this is, we are police, we are from customs, and this is your FIR. And now, since you have done something like maybe you have ordered a package, it contains drugs. Now, we found it out, you are being digitally arrested, you have to stay in here, you can't move out of the house. And we are scared because it's about our reputation. It's about our reputation. It's about how people will think about me. They will come to know that something has happened with me, though I know within myself that I haven't done anything like that. I did not order any drugs. But even then, somebody poses as some official and tells me that you had drugs in your package. And if I just kind of, it clicks that, okay, I have ordered something, maybe somebody has meddled with it. I kind of think that, okay, it's there in my package and I am at risk. So what comes up? It's basically the fear factor, right? Somebody calls you, says that, ma'am, your electricity bill has not been paid, and will be now. You'll not have your electricity would not be there. So you're like worried. You don't even know once think that I paid that because then maybe there's some kind of a problem. Maybe that person did not have the update. Maybe when I transferred the amount, they did not get the confirmation. You start thinking the other way around. Right? You never think it in a rational or logical way because the person that is talking to you or the situation that has been created has a sense of urgency. They don't give you even a second to think about how you are going to react or respond. Right? That is what, when we say it's Paleolithic emotions. I hope, sir, I hope I have been able to touch a few things there with respect to the quotation. Yeah, I will carry on, sir. I was just trying to explain what this quotation meant for me. I mean, of course, everything has perspective. We should respect everyone's perspective. This is one of the perspectives that I agree with and I shared here with you. So with this, we move on, right? So is there any similarity between physical and digital space? First of all, what is digital space? And what is physical space? As of now, right now we all are sitting here and all of us are present in both these spaces, the physical space as well and the digital space. So what is the similarity between the two or the difference between the two?
Uh, when we say digital space, uh, we can go to Facebook or Instagram where we go and live a virtual live in a virtual world.
Absolutely.
But in the real world, like everyone has to be there in person.
Very right. We have a home, right? Right now, this is a classroom wherein I'm standing. And when we are talking, there's a set of people who are my audience, right? But when we're there in the digital space, it's up to us, right? Who can be our audience? It can be a private gathering, it can be a private discussion, it can be a public session, right? So in your physical world, you have your own homes, you have belongings that are tangible. You can touch, you can feel, you can see them. But when you go to the digital space, it's a little different, right? All the things there are yours. They are part of your own identity. That is why many a times you would see your friends saying that somebody has hacked my account and he or she is asking for some money. Please don't give it. It's not me. Every time you have to prove it in the digital world that it's not me if something is wrong. Yeah, it is me. Here in this world, it's easier for me to understand who you are. I can associate your identity easily, right? Then, if we talk about the way we have been working in the real world, if we say shopping, we are able to do it in the digital world as well now, right? If we say banking, absolutely possible. And next, most important thing in the real world that I believe is making connections, feeling loved, belongingness. Even that people are trying to find out, or maybe they are finding out in the digital world as well. Do you agree?
Yes.
So, because of these similarities, I would just want to ask a question here. When we were young, our parents used to lay down certain rules for us, right? No, do this, and this. Can you cite just one rule that your parent laid down for you when you were young? Young. Any one rule.
Sharing attitude.
Sharing?
Attitude.
Sharing attitude. Okay, we should have a sharing attitude, sir. Fine. And what was a strict no-no from them?
Yes. If I say
Don't believe in strangers. Yes, sir.
sometimes they are telling that you should not go there.
You should not.
This is not because we are curious to go. Now some guidelines are there. No, you should not go.
Yes.
We are following that.
Yes. So one, two, and what else? Sharing, as ma'am said. Yes, sir. Do not steal. Fine. And obey the orders. Listen to your elders. And what else?
Don't come in your house late night.
Don't come in your house late night. There is a time that you have to follow. There has to be time bound. And ma'am?
Sleep as early as possible.
Sleep as early as possible. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Wake up early in the morning.
Wake up early in the morning
and study.
study. Then, if somebody gives you toffee, you don't know that uncle and auntie. What did your parents say?
Don't take anything from strangers.
Don't take anything from the strangers. Whatever it is, you should not take or eat anything that a stranger gives you, right? Absolutely. So, all these rules that you just mentioned, do they apply in the digital space? First, do not mingle with strangers. Does it apply?
No.
No?
No.
But in the digital space, you can?
Basically, when you are basically interacting on a WhatsApp or a Facebook or something, most of the people are basically interacting with a bot for 60%.
Yeah.
That is the issue. And they think it's a human being, but they are basically having a conversation with a bot.
Yeah.
And human beings are very good at inventing tools, but they are very bad at using it. That is the main question.
True. That is why God liked technology and we are medieval.
Yeah.
Right. So the point is,
Not
as Sir
God-like.
suggested, right?
Not God like.
Okay, let's not. Yeah, God like was a very technology that goes at a very. I'm sorry. That goes at a very fast pace, right? Okay. So Sir said that of course we're discussing with we are talking with bots and all, but the point is that if we are on social media, should we be interacting or having followers or having people who are part of our community, should they be someone who we don't know at all?
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility, but if given a choice, would you want to have strangers in your community? No.
No.
You would want to avoid, right? So, yes, one. Then, not believing in everything.
Not believing in strangers, I say.
Not believing in strangers, fine. Not believing in a stranger. If somebody says something to you, you're not
But
knowing that
depend
person.
mainly on that will depend on the age group of the user, because in the very young age, adolescent age, the people, the students at that time, they would like to engage with some people whom they don't know.
Whom
To
they,
yeah.
yes, whom they appreciate.
Yes.
Yeah, and they say that you look very nice, so they feel
Yes, yes.
special about. Yeah, absolutely. It is age driven, ma'am. But the point is, when we talk about awareness, it is about informing those children as well that you have to be very wary of who you are talking to, because you just cannot take away the fact that interactions have a very big impact on how you feel, how you react, how you respond, right? So yes, there are few similarities. We agree that there are certain similarities in the physical and digital space. Do we agree to that? Some similarities, right? Then safety in the digital space. When we say digital space is not only, so there are two terms. We say cyberspace, we say digital space. So you cannot say that both of them are exactly same. When we say digital space, we also mean the interaction element, right? The psychological element. We include that part as well. When we say cyberspace, we talk about all the physical things that are there or present in the cyber world, like the networks, the data, everything, right? So that is why we are talking about safety in the digital space. Now, how is safety as a term different from security?
Safety and security.
Safety and in terms of personal. Safety, I think, is personal and security in general.
Absolutely.
Yes. And somebody else? Safety?
Safety means like accidents, you know. And when we talk about this security, uh, it has to do with intention harm.
Right.
Safety for ourselves and security by someone. It's maybe guardian or parents or.
Yes, yes, very right. Anybody else want to add something? Say, okay, let me just ask a simple question. When you go for that, okay, let me take an example of maybe a Goa boat, Goa banana ride. There's something called banana ride in Goa, wherein they take people on a boat in the middle of that, whatever it's river or sea, and then they topple it. So they ask people to wear what? Life jackets. Life jackets are also known as safety jackets. All of you agree to that?
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about our society where we live, we have somebody who is guarding us. That person is known as?
Security guard.
So, is he known as safety guard?
No.
No.
That he or she is a security guard. That's the difference, as Sir rightly said, all of them. That when you talk about safety, it's about your personal habits. How do you ensure that you do not fall into any problem? You do not get into any problem. You don't fall into any trap. When you say security, it's about the measures that you take in case if I am in any way in a problem, then those security measures would just help me come out of it. Right? So that is how safety and security is different. Similarly, when we say cyber safety, cyber security, safety in digital space, the term here means it's with respect to the individual's actions and behaviors, right? So these are the learning objectives. We'll be able to describe digital space, state the need, identify and list safety issues with respect to physical, psychological, legal, ethical, and social. The minute I say physical, psychological, legal, ethical, and social, I think I would be able to relate now to the digital space that I was talking about. So when we talk about digital space, it has all these aspects involved. As you as a person are a stakeholder of the digital space, right? Then take preventive measures in the digital space. Take remedial actions in case of any untoward incident. So this is our digital space. What are the components of digital space? The elements of digital space are, first of all, what is the first thing? What is your window? What is your door? What is the door through which you enter the digital space?
Mobile.
Yes, your devices. Your devices, right? The first component is your device. Then, for that device to be working, there is something through which you go into the world, right? On that device, you have softwares or apps, right? That allow you to actually enter the digital world. Then you have network. That network connects all of us together. Is that right? That network connects all of us together. Fine. Then you have your data. Because of all this, you are able to transfer what? Your data. Right? That data and information is traveling around the net. Fine. Then the most important stakeholder is the user itself. We. All these components, if we talk about the hardware, if we talk about the software, or we talk about the network, they are not intelligent enough to work or to react in a certain way. Who is making them intelligent, or who is ensuring that this is how somebody has to react, respond, or share? It's the person involved, that is us. So the most vulnerable part of all these things is the human element. We are the most vulnerable part when we talk about the digital space. Now, when we talk about digital space, I have been using this term as vulnerability. So, what is a vulnerability? Vulnerability leads to threat. Threat leads to risk. So when we say vulnerability, what is vulnerability?
Target group.
Yes, sir.
Target group.
Okay. And
Risk.
risk is the third component. Vulnerability. For example, you have to go to a party, right? You left your house door open. That's what? Is that threat? Is that risk? Or is that vulnerability? That is vulnerability. You've left the door open. You have kept your phone somewhere. You haven't locked it. And now you're out. Somebody else can come and use it, right? That's the second part. But you left it unguarded. That's vulnerability. Then with vulnerability, you have threat. Threat what? Now, since I left my door open, there can be a threat of burglary. Somebody can enter my house, right? So that's a threat. Risk. Now that person has entered my house, he or she might just steal my precious things. That's the risk. So if there is a vulnerability and somebody enters my house and I have a safe wherein I have kept my precious documents and things and it's locked with an alarm and everything, I will be able to manage the vulnerability. Though, of course, because that person would enter my house, he might or she might just pick up something else. That's another thing. But yes, my main thing, my main documents, the main focus that I had on things that should not be stolen are still there. So it's vulnerability, threats, and risk. The first thing that we need to take care of is vulnerability, and you are able to identify your vulnerabilities only when you're mindful of the fact that we can have a situation which is not as per our liking. We have to accept that first. It's not safe. So whenever we go on road, when we were young, our parents used to say that do not cross the traffic light, the road till the traffic light turns red, right? And they used to tell us to see left, right, left again, and then move, right? So what are they saying? What are they telling you? That there is a vulnerability. You might have an accident. So for that, they're just telling you, don't do this thing. Now you are also recognizing, yes, I can have an accident. So I have to be careful. When we talk about these messages regarding wearing helmets while you drive, some people do not accept, some people accept. Right? So what the point is what? It's about vulnerability. In case there is an accident, God forbid, if you're wearing a helmet, it might just protect you. Might just protect you. Right? So vulnerability in digital space can be human, physical, and non-physical. With respect to us, it can be weak passwords. Right? Just 1234 5 as a password. Test 123 as a password. India as a password. My name as my password. My birth date as my password. Anything. Right? Like I share about my kid a lot. Then the hacker might just understand that the because he or she shares a lot about the kid, might be the password is the kid's name. Easy to identify things. Then phishing attacks. If somebody sends an email with a link to click on and maybe make a payment and I click it, who is responsible here? Me. So that's my vulnerability. That I'm not recognizing that I'm not supposed to be clicking on anything anywhere. Right? Then social engineering. When we talk about digital arrest, social engineering forms the base of digital arrest. Where somebody just calls you, creates a setup, and actually ensure that you land in a panic state. Now you are very, very, very scared. And I'll just share that incident of Hyderabad person, I guess. It was there in the newspaper that somebody went for a holiday. And that person with his family, of course, there he got this call wherein he was said that something has happened with you and you are digitally arrested. So of course he was scared. Then he was said you're supposed to be locked in a room, stay there, don't talk to anyone. And you have to keep your phone on. You cannot disconnect my video call. The minute you will disconnect the video call, the police personnel will come and they'll arrest you. Now he has to keep it on all everywhere, wherever he's going. And he's supposed to be confined to a room, so he's there. Then what happened is he was asked, after all the discussion, he was asked to transfer some amount. He said, I'll not be able to do it without going to a bank. So he said, okay, you go to a bank, but then your phone should always be like on. I should always be able to see you. You should always be able to see me because we are tracking you. So the minute you will switch off your phone, somebody will come and they'll arrest you. Again, arrest you, arrest you, arrest you. For 7 hours, that person was into that problem. Not talking to the family. Family is worried. What has happened? Not talking to family. He came out, took his bike, asked for a bike, and then he went. And after at some time, what happened is the internet got disconnected. So the newspaper was actually highlighting that part. At that point of time, when the internet got disconnected, it was like that he was hypnotized. He came out of that. And he, instead of going to the bank, he went to the police station. Something is happening with me, and then that whole thing was avoided. So the point is, we need to have that fraction of second to just think what is happening, right? So next is physical related to hardware. So you have your devices, you don't keep them locked, you don't have any kind of security set up in your systems, and that's a physical vulnerability. You have to keep that. You just cannot assume everything is fine. Again, I'll share an incident wherein my school teacher, she had kept her Gmail account open on this system. So children used to come and they used to work on the system, used to run their programs, and then they used to go. After some time, like I guess somewhere around November, December, end of the session, a parent came and complained to the principal that your teacher has been sending obscene messages to my daughter. And my friend is like shocked. How is that possible? And it is her email ID. So they had brought proof. It took us a while to understand what happened. And then, of course, the students are the best, I should say, investigators, right? They are there, they know, no, ma'am, I saw that person using that. And we were like, I mean, of course, it was a big problem that it was difficult to handle because you cannot prove that who used your system. And at that time, we did not have cameras also in our lab. So we could not say who sat on the system, on our system. It was an administration system, we never used to allow students to sit there. But it was open. So that is what? That's a vulnerability again on part of you that you did not, okay, your email account was open, fine. But what? Why did not you lock your device? You should have locked your device. Then, out of friendship, what we say is that, okay, all the department teachers, all of us have same password. So then from then on, we stopped having same passwords. We used to have 3 different passwords for 3 of us, different users, different passwords. So that's the physical vulnerability. You need to lock your device. That's very, very important. Then next is non-physical. Software, network, data, and app permissions. Like you have a Wi-Fi at home. Somebody comes and sets up and says that, okay, the password, uncle sir, I have kept your password as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So change kar lena. He or she says so and then he or she goes. We are like enjoying our life. 2 years, 3 years. What is the Wi-Fi password? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We do not think that it might be a reason for somebody to intrude into our system. We should change. We should change. That is why many of the banks, they are now prompting you to change your passwords regularly. They don't keep it the same way. They keep changing them, right? So, and app permissions. You are downloading an app from your phone. It says, give us permission to see your contacts. You say, okay. Give us permission to see your camera. Okay. Give us permission to hear your audio. Okay. You give permissions, yes. Your app is downloaded and you are now working on it without even thinking, does this app actually need camera access? Does this app actually need location access? But then we also have a problem. There are certain apps that do not get downloaded till we get all yes. Then what should we do? We have to have that app and it's asking for all permissions. What should we do?
No, if you're using a free app, then you don't have a choice. If it's a paid app or something like that, then you don't have you have to you can basically don't give them any access.
Okay.
And for example, you are opening a Gmail account.
Mm-hmm.
You agree the terms. There are 3-4 pages of.
You are not going to read.
You are not going to read that.
Yeah.
So basically, what we are doing is we are basically giving our sensitive information to somebody who with Facebook account, Instagram. We have already given our whole details.
Absolutely, yes,
And
yes.
government is also taking our whole detail.
Yeah.
Bank account number,
It's
Aadhaar
our
card,
card.
Aadhaar card. I don't know, so many cards.
Besides,
So that is with respect to the data.
And
But what about your device?
the surveillance system,
Yeah.
it runs on that. basically we are already too much in the digital space, and
We are being watched.
we are being watched, and we are being tracked, and I don't know what. I mean,
Yes, but then it's like I have a window in my home and I would want to put a curtain, right? So now somebody says, no, you have to keep your curtain open always. That is happening when we say that they want my camera access. They want my window to be open always. Why? Even Zuckerberg, if you know, Mark Zuckerberg, he puts that tape on his camera because you know it's easily hacked. A camera can be hacked easily. So what do we do? So while we are giving permissions to an app, there is an option if you see
While using this.
while using the app. Just while using this app, this time only. This time only means ki, okay, even while using the app, it will ask again. Whenever you will click on the app, it will again ask for the permissions. This time only means that. While using the app means that when you use that app, only then all these things are active. Otherwise, the permission is off. So we need to be very selective in what permission
But
are we
always
giving.
these options do not come, as you
They come
said
now.
that no, for some apps they
Okay.
show that like yeah, while using the app you give permissions. But as you asked in the previous question that what to do now, that some apps do not get downloaded till we give full permission to them, yeah, or accept all the cookies. So what should do? What we
See,
should
as
do?
of now, ma'am, I mean, I might be mistaken if you're saying there's something like that, but all the apps that we download now, as per the guidelines, they are not supposed to always keep all these permissions on. They are asking for these three options. They have to, it's like right now, for the app, or forever. That is there. It's our
So
choice.
whenever those options come, we always choose this one, no? That like
While using
while
it.
using the
While
app. But
using the
there
app.
are like I have faced that like
In
but
case of
very
third
recently I have
party.
yeah. But we have to give all the consent that
Parties.
yeah. So
So are
that
you using some external APK? Is it
no
like
no
that?
no no
No,
no.
from the Play Store?
Yes.
Google Play Store?
Yeah, Play Store or yeah, even if we go to open some website web pages or like that, so they ask for some cookies.
So when they say about, yes, absolutely right, the cookies thing is there. So the practice is we should always ensure that we clear our history, clear our cookies. There's an option of clearing our history. In your browser, there are three dots. If you click on them, there's an option of history. You can go and clear it that very moment. You can't do it for all the sites that you visit, but if you make it a habit, like before sleeping at night, you would want to just delete everything, you can go ahead. Of course, that again prompts you for your email account as well. You can't just again now easily enter your email account, but it's okay. Fine, we'll enter the password again. So yes, you can clear your cookies. The point is that you are thinking, as ma'am is right now thinking that okay, they are asking us to that they want to store their cookies. So what do we do? So the answer is that we need to ensure that they are flushed out of our system, right? So these are the vulnerabilities in the digital space. Next, when we talk about safety, what are your belongings in the digital space? What do you need to keep safe in the digital space? Like, sir?
Date of
Your
birth.
Personal information, yes.
your habits, your everything. I mean, basically.
Photographs
Photographs, yes, sir. We are storing our photographs and
and
Details of banks and everything.
biometrics, yes, and
Your financial details.
passwords, financial details, everything, and also your locations. You have normally for many apps we
Most of
are
the
switching on our location. Last workshop that we had, there was one teacher who told me that, ma'am, it happened with my friend. He was very vividly posting on Facebook everything. Even if he goes out, he is rich. So of course, if he goes to five-star hotel, he has to now show it on the story that I was there with my kids eating out here and there. So many things. Even if the child is going to school or some picnic, he will say, "My son enjoying picnic at," and that place. Everything, whatever photographs the teachers share, because nowadays teachers share photographs with parents for them to know that everything is safe, they're enjoying. So he used to share them as it is. And after I used to tell him, he said, I used to tell him, don't do that. It's too much. But after some time, such an incident happened with him that his child was kidnapped. People track. People track. Whosoever does that, I mean, these criminals now they have very different ways of tracking you, right? So yes, how much you are sharing, and what are you sharing, and with whom you are sharing, is very important. If you're a professional, you're talking about some courses and all those things, absolutely fine. If you're talking about your family, If you're talking about your location, that's not fine. When we were young, our parents used to have those cameras, 36. There used to be 36 reels, and then we used to click, then get it printed, put in the album, keep it inside, right? So when everybody, there were so many guests who used to come at our home, but your parents used to show your album to whom? Everybody. No, na? Only to their loved ones, not to the carpenter, not to the maybe a neighbor who we don't know very well, right? Similarly, when we are on social media, we need to understand who watches us. Even in the WhatsApp story, if you're putting a story, maybe you want to share it with your family, you don't want to send them individual messages, you don't have a group as well, okay, fine. Put it on the story, but then there's a setting wherein you decide who can see your status. Yes. So my cousin, my bhabi, she passed away last year. Very unfortunate incident. She had two little daughters. One of them is in class 7, the other in class 2. So they were taken by their Masi. So she's now staying there with her Masi. So I saw one day, she's good. Of course, when children grow up, they like sharing their beautiful pics. Let people see that how nice I'm looking. So she kind of posted that on her story. I saw it. I just messaged her, and now you can't offend children as well. Because if you say that this is not right, take it down. Next time they'll not talk to you. They'll not ask for your permission. They'll say, no, she's always creating trouble for me. So I asked her that, Beta, my children are very beautiful. I would want to appreciate them. I would not want any stranger to have a look at my precious. So please ensure that the status is marked for only your family. So we can't stop. If we say stop, don't do it, children do it all the more. But if we give them an idea that, okay, in spite of this, do this way, they'll be happier. Many times when we go to workshops, we ask students, how many followers? Ma'am, 500 followers. Ma'am, 700 followers. And I keep looking at them, do you know so many people in your real life? If I say, write down the names of people you know, would you be able to exceed 100? Somebody said, no ma'am, not even 50. Because then how 700? Who are these 700 people? What are they doing? And are you sure that all those 700 people are the same as you think? If the DP is of a 14-year-old boy, do you think that person is a 14-year-old? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They talk about homework, they talk about this, they talk about that. No, that is not a fact. We know about online predators, right? Right? There have been so many cases. So the point is, first of all, we need to know what do we need to safeguard. Even our audio clips, right? All these things nowadays, you know that with respect to deep fake, it's very easy for somebody to take a sample of your audio and then use your audio, your voice, to say something that they want. So anything that you're putting on the system, Ghibli, when Ghibli came in, all of us were busy sharing our images to see how we would look, the Ghibli art, the Ghibli art, the Ghibli art, without even realizing that it's not needed. Question is it needed? That's the point. It's basically the fame, the beauty, the appreciation, the popularity is that what we look for, right? So next, we need to ensure safety in digital space by protecting our devices. One, then protecting our personal data and privacy. Two, protecting our health and well-being as well. There have been so many cases wherein, if we cite, wherein people have lost their lives, or maybe they have committed suicide because of some kind of a digital experience. So that is precious. Life is precious. We are precious. Our people are precious. That is what we need to realize. Just like the way we do in our real world. Even in our real world, this is what we are doing. We are protecting our family. We are protecting ourselves. Similarly, we need to protect ourselves in the digital world. Next, can you start answering? I am the key to your locks in the virtual world. Who am I? Password. Yes. I am the key to your locks in the virtual world. Who am I? Password. The first thing, we need to have password protection always. Wherever possible, if it says two-factor authentication, take it. Even your Google Chrome now says that you can enable your 2FA. Please take it. What is the problem? You'll start receiving these messages. Somebody logged in to your mail account from so and so device. It's okay. I have no problem. Keep sending me, right? Then I allow you to perform tasks. You should update me regularly. Who am I?
Software.
Yes, your browser. your applications, your phone. You get this message that please update your device. We sometimes do not because we are busy. But don't forget that you have to. Now, why do we need to update always? Because as I said, that these people, whenever something is made, there are smart people, smarter people who try to find out loopholes. So what do these companies do? They also employ these hackers, white hat hackers. Their work is to find out loopholes, and then they tell them that see this is a leaking point. So then what do they make? There are certain upgrades that actually better your experience. There are certain upgrades that ensure that whatever loophole has been found is fixed. Right? Next is I guard you against any malware. Who am I? Antivirus. Yes. Next, I connect you to the world. You should keep me under lock and key. Who am I? Internet. Through your Wi-Fi modems and all, right? So you need to connect, you need to keep them under lock and key. It's morning. I hope all of you, are you getting bored? Because of break lane? Do you want to take a break? No? So can we smile? Yeah, just let's smile, okay? It makes our day bright, right? So, can we smile? No? Okay, no problem. So, we need to protect our devices. We need to protect ourselves. In this world, cyber world, we have certain rules and laws laid down. They are the IT Act, Information Technology Act. Like, for example, this one, 66B, for dishonestly receiving stolen computer resources or communication devices. Sometimes we do not complain thinking that this is a norm, but it is actually, if you know that it is punishable and it can be stopped, you should report. So that's one. Next is, okay, one by one we'll be having that. How do you protect your personal data? You need to have all these questions in your mind. Who is using? What data is being used? Why is it being used? How will it be used? And for how long will it be used? Right? And we need to also be aware of like, share, and comment. It's a reputation at stake. For example, let's take a simple, let's do an activity. For example, you have been asked, that you'll be told that you will be given an assistant teacher to help with your work. So you get 3 applications, shortlisted applications from the principal or from the head, and they give it to you and they say that choose whichever you would want to choose. So you see, okay, you see the names first, then you go on to social media on Google, you type that person's name and press enter. You get their social media profiles, all of theirs. So you give there. You see, one of them is very loud. He or she is very aggressive, speaks about everything, has a problem with nearly everything, and this should not happen, this should not happen, this should not happen. Second is very mild, very passive, no comments, nothing. It's just a simple web page. Third is like happy, smiling, has a problem with systems, but approaches us in a very humorous way or in a subtle way, right? So if I ask you, like these 3 people, they are 3 different personalities. Everybody gets associated with people who are of their type, right? So if I just randomly ask, who would you choose? Third one? Third one, okay. Somebody might choose first, somebody might choose second, somebody might choose third. But my question is, without even meeting that person, just by what I said, that this is what they are posting, you have a very strong opinion about someone. That is what I want to bring forth. So this is with students also. They tend to comment, in a fit of rage, they say something, but they need to know that actually it stays there. It is forming their reputation. People think that okay, you are this way. That is why you are sharing these things. And then you should also know that nowadays many companies, they are actually doing this verification of the candidates using their social media handles. If you fill in some applications, job applications, you will see that they ask for your social media handles, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, just to see if you fit into their organization, if you're the right person to be there with them or not. Right? So that is why it's very important that even what we like, share, and comment, we should be wary of. Next, reflect on your actions in digital space and list actions that make your digital space vulnerable. Okay. So now, after all the discussion, what do you think you should be careful of now. Like, smile please first, and then at least one answer. From this side first. Yes, sir. App permissions one. Be careful of the app permissions.
Log out every time after.
Yes, even here. When you are here, you have logged into your devices, you're logged into your email from here. Please log out when you go. Remove your account from here. Don't even leave your name, email name also here. Right? And what else from this side?
Restrain from sharing everything.
Restrain from sharing everything.
Change passwords.
Change passwords regularly.
Two-step verification.
Okay, verification. Anything else?
Don't use the app long time.
Don't use right. Keep your devices updated. If there's an update notification, ensure that they are updated. Yes. Yes.
Don't go for unnecessary.
Yes. And most important thing.
क्यों कीचड़ में जाएंगे क्यों पैर धोएंगे
क्यों कीचड़ में जाएंगे क्यों? Very nice. So one more thing. Sometimes, like for example, I had this incident. One of my friends, she got a file and she shared it with me. She said, "This is a wonderful app. You just put your class, put the topic, put the kind of question that you want, and it generates around 100 questions of that particular chapter. And they're all NCRT driven." Wow, yeah, okay. Which is the app? She shared the APK file with me. Then I told her, please delete karo pehle to. The point is, when you are downloading something from Google Play Store and something bad happens with you, you can report. Because as per Google Play Store, they are supposed to have all the apps that are verified and secure. So I had downloaded from Google Play Store. Now I have been robbed. So I can actually complain. I can go to the police. I can follow the action of law. But if you are downloading anything outside that Play Store, if that application is from outside the Play Store, that's your problem, not theirs. Similarly, I had made a payment 3-4 years back through a link to somebody. I lost that money. Now, when I approached my bank, I said, I paid through your ID. He said, no, ma'am, it will take time. Why did not you use our banking app? You should have used that. We will try. We will definitely try. But since it's outside our domain, it will take time. We are trying. Though I must appreciate them, I got my money back after 3-4 months, but I got it. But yes, my mistake was I was not doing it within their ecosystem. I had to do it in their ecosystem. Right? So let's answer these questions with always, sometimes, or never. First, charge your devices using USB ports in public places.
Never.
Why? Why?
there should be any
Yes. Now you have those USB, your charger has a USB cable. Now if someday you have this port, fine. But if it is not there and that USB is there, don't do this. Why? Because the minute you put your cable inside that particular port and on your device, your data is visible to that person if that port is hacked. One. Now the problem is I have to charge. I do not have this thing. What to do?
There is an option. Only charging or sharing.
Only charging option can be chosen, or you can use a charge only cable.
Yes.
There are charge only cables also available which do not transfer your data. That can be used. Now I forgot. I don't understand from where to choose that option. Now what to do? But I have to charge. Only 1% is left. What to do? What to do? I have to charge.
Power bank.
Switching off, yes. But then switching off only when you have a pin in place. Because if I move out just for a second, somebody might just switch on and use my system. No. It has to have a pin. It has to be locked. So in the worst situation, it's not that we should be wary of technology. No. We should find out ways to ensure that we are safe. So I have to charge. I will charge. My phone should have a pin. And then I'll switch it off. Then I'll put it there. Even somebody comes and tries to use the combination, it will take time. Right? Next is use own Wi-Fi or hotspot when in public places instead of the high-speed public Wi-Fi available to you. Always, never, sometimes. Sometimes, but otherwise we can use public Wi-Fi.
Public Wi-Fi जैसे ये भी है तो public Wi-Fi है हम तो use कर रहे हैं.
But अगर यहाँ से कुछ भी होगा तो आप NCERT पे केस कर सकते हो.
It should be trusted.
Trusted, yes. Yeah, so if you're out like you say that, oh, your public Wi-Fi is available, please use it. We should be wary of that. Then, in case if we have to use it for just simple browsing, okay, but do not perform any transactions. Do not do anything which in wherein you need to enter your username or passwords. Don't do that. Right? Okay, I have to use it, I will, but I will not do these activities at that time. Next. Yes, yes. Do not. Next is keep your devices unlocked.
No.
Sir, should we keep our devices locked or unlocked? Locked. Okay. Next, sign out of all your accounts when accessing them on others' devices. Always. Always.
Clear the caches as well as the browsing history, whatever there.
Yes, clear the caches and your browsing history as well. Yes. Next is
Or unless you can go for the incognito mode.
you can go for the incognito mode also. That's a private mode of surfing the net. Next, give access to contacts, photos, camera, and audio to all apps.
No, never.
Sometimes.
Unless until it is not purely necessary.
Yes, sometimes, and only for that particular moment. Try to do it only for that particular moment. You also have an option to see which of the apps are using your camera, your audio. If you go into your settings, you'll be able to see permissions. You can see which all apps are using. If you don't want them to use, you can switch off from there as well, right? But like you have to you keep your house. You are always like scanning your house for dirt. You're scanning your house for security issues. Similarly, you need to keep your phone settings. You need to scan them always for such things. Next, enable waiting rooms in case of online classes. Sometimes, sometimes,
Every time.
every time,
Always.
always. But why do we need to enable waiting rooms in online classes? What is the problem?
Confirm who is the person.
Yes. You have the authority to decide who will enter the class. If it is not a waiting room, there is no waiting room, everybody can enter. Whosoever has the link or username or password can enter your class. But with the waiting room, you decide, okay, I will allow, I will not allow. Right? So it gives you a sense of autonomy. Okay, I can do that. Next is end meeting in case of any unwanted activity. Always. You don't have to discuss, you don't have to argue, you don't have to ask, who are you? Why are you in my class? No, you just end that meeting because you don't know for what purpose that person has come in. Maybe he or she wants you just to take a screenshot of all the students' name, anything. You just have to immediately, if you find something suspicious, end the meeting immediately. Next, share your document in edit mode with everyone. Never. Never. It should be viewing or commenting. Editing with only those people who are entitled to do so. Suggestion mode is what we are always suggesting. That we are able to see what changes you have made. You also know that there are versions of our documents now that are maintained. You can actually even revert back to the versions that you want in case something has changed. Next, keep all your documents private. Mostly. Always be able to, sometimes some documents need to be shared, but yes, mostly, whatever we can. Huh. So we discussed one there, wherein it was about selling and buying. This is again section 66C of IT for use of the electronic signature, password, or any other unique identification feature of any other person without permission. Then next is for cheating by personation by using computer resource. If somebody takes your ID, that's also punishable. Next, whoever intentionally or knowingly captures, publishes, or transmits the image of a private area of any person without his or her consent, that is also punishable. I would share one again incident here. When we went for a workshop with this for students, normally these questions are always from students. There was a class 7th girl who came and asked me, ma'am, you're talking about digital footprint. Yes. You're talking about digital footprint again and again. Yes. Yes. Digital footprint again and again. So I just want to know that I had shared, if I have shared something with somebody, some photo, something, but I deleted after 5 minutes, ma'am. So will it be there? So the fear in her eyes was actually scary for me as well. I just looked at her and I said, beta, they might have taken a screenshot, they might have downloaded it, and then you deleted it. You never know what happened. So she said, no, I was just asking for just for the information's sake, and she went outside the class. Then the teacher was very vigilant at that time. She came to me, she asked what was she asking. I told her. She said, yeah, I think there's something wrong with her because even we are feeling that she's not normal, not behaving normally in the class as she used to behave the way. Now the thing is that there's a site called Stop. Uh, I'll share the name. It's basically if you are aware that somebody has shared some picture of somebody, you can actually ask, you can post on this site and you can ensure that it is taken down. I'll give you the site name. Just a minute. It is Stop Consensual Intimate Image, CIIN, I guess. I'll just share it once I'm finished with this class. So basically, there's this website. If you go and report it there, it will be taken down. So you should know about this resource. Everybody should know about this. Sometimes pictures are fake. Sometimes pictures are morphed. So if we have this power that okay, we can report and ensure that they are down, that will be really powerful. And for please do inform parents as well, because they should also feel that okay, there's a problem. Listen to the child. Don't act. Don't react. Just respond by going to that side and then inform the child. Next, now we've spoken about the technological aspect. Now we come back to the physical aspect. What problems are we facing with respect to the digital space for with respect to our physical health? First, 2024 edition of Wakefit's Great Indian Sleep Scorecard. 58% Indians going to bed after 11 p.m. up from 55% in previous study. Indians staying up beyond bedtime due to special social media and OTT platform. Is that wrong? Is that a concern? We need to get our 8 hours of sleep. We should ensure that we get our 8 hours sleep. Number one. Number two, you've not, I mean, like, of course, for relaxation, for entertainment, of course, it should not be a daily habit that affects you, right? Then many times if you see, if you go to an OTT platform and you decide with your family or your wife that okay, today, or husband, then let's watch a movie, a series, and you have not decided it beforehand, you will see you waste around 30 minutes just scanning what to see, what to see. Do you understand? Yeah. So it's all about mitigating. Then you have WhatsApp messages from maybe the head of the department at night only, maybe 10:30, 11. We can't switch it off as well. So what do? We have to attend. But we need to ensure that we are in a gray mode. Our screen is in gray mode. Whenever the blue light that is emitted from your phones, it interferes with your sleep routine. So make sure that it is in gray mode. Morning mein white is like super super all the birds they start chirping because of that light. That's a signal that you are now, you have to wake up. So you can have a gray mode system there. Next, computer vision syndrome symptoms. Dry eyes. I get that a lot. Wear glasses if you can. Right? They protect you. Right? Blue light glasses that you have. Then blink your eyes more often. We don't blink when we work on the system. Take a break after 15 to 20 minutes. You have to get up. You have to leave the system. Neck problems. Everybody might, I mean, I have this problem now, but mostly we started having this problem that when we are sitting and we're always looking at phone like this, and when we are driving at that moment, it feels as if we are nauseous always. It used to happen with people who were actually suffering from motion sickness before this. But now it happens with me as well. I was never, having this motion sickness just because of this thing. So the neck problem, if you go and read about it, biologically they'll explain about the gaps, the spine, it has gaps, that gap increases, then what happens? You can go and read about that as well. Neck problem. Next, how do you ensure your physical well-being in digital space? First, use a chair with back support, use a footrest, or keep your feet on the floor. Always. It reduces pressure on the lower back. Don't rest your elbows. Now, the way we write, the way we type is like always like this. Don't do that. Next, don't rest your wrists on the table. You start having pain here as well. Next, take short breaks and move around. Next, don't overuse earphones or pods. Have you heard about Alka Yagnik? She's suffering from a problem. Yes. So, overuse of earphones and pods is wrong, right? Try using that wired thing. That actually restricts you, right? You can't always keep it like that. You will try to just remove it for some time. But if it is there always, you're walking, you're listening to song, you are watching a movie, then also it's there. Even kids nowadays, I see all of them have these Bluetooth speakers, Bluetooth earphones, headphones. They're always putting them on their head. Some music is going on, some video is going on. So we need to actually tell children fungus. Actually, the problem is you are not giving your ear that ventilation thing. It's always restricted. The air is restricted always, right? It can actually make fungus. Next is blink your eyes more often to keep them lubricated. Very important. Ensure that you take your eyes from the screen after 20 minutes. Gaze at something that is at least 20 feet away for 20 seconds. This helps eyes get rest by moving short to long distances. What happens is when you keep looking at the screen, you don't have practice to look beyond nowadays. We're always looking here. So nowadays people have this issue when they are not able to see well things that are far apart, right? So you need to actually take it off. Just keep it practice. You need to have that practice for that also. So this was the physical effect. Then is the psychological effect. FOMO. What is FOMO?
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. What is fear of missing out, ma'am?
That I will not be accepted. I will be, my friends and others will be moving ahead of me, and they will consider that it's good to
Right. That is fear of missing out. We have a habit of checking WhatsApp status. Some of us. So what we do is whenever we see a status, we ensure that we see everybody's status. If something is missed, you see it again. Okay, it is missed. At night also, you'll again see everybody's status. This is a little example of FOMO, fear of missing out. There are people who, when they do not check their social media account, they feel anxious. I missed it. I don't know what happened. I need to see it. That's the psychological effect. So this is FOMO, fear of missing out. Next, according to research, our attention span has markedly decreased in just 15 years. Average attention span in 2000 was 12 seconds. Average attention span in 2015 is 8.25 seconds. Now, what is written there? It's written, in fact, scientists reckon we now have shorter attention spans than goldfish. Average attention of a goldfish is 9 seconds. What do you think might be the reason?
Because of a lot of distractions.
Scrolling, distractions. Yes. Anything else, sir?
We have lots of options.
We have a lot of options. Yes, sir. And we are like, if you look at look at shorts, they are around 15 seconds, 8 seconds long, and you keep on scrolling. You don't stop at all. You can't stop at one thing for some time. We as family, we have a rule now. What we were observing was whenever we will be watching something and some advertisement came, my son, my daughter, my husband, they would change the channel, go to some other channel and watch something else, and then again come back to see if the ad is there or it's gone. So, like, we were observing this pattern for a long time, and I am like, "Okay, I need to stay in that zone. What happened? What will happen next?" And suddenly, if you change, I somehow don't feel comfortable. I said, like, I think that this is a psychological effect of the digital space that I'm seeing right now in my home. So we will not change. We have to see the entire. We don't have patience. The point is that we do not have patience to stick on things now. In sciences, there is STM and there is LTM. You know, brain has a short-term memory and brain has a the procedure of transferring data from short-term memory to long-term memory. There is a process. Like if you are reading something for some time, you are focused. Then a repeated reading would ensure that it goes to your long-term memory. But supposing you are reading something, you're doing something, and somebody comes in between and takes you away for some task. Then, of course, when you come back, you'll have to rethink. Where was I? What was I thinking? You'll have to start doing it again. Now, with our phones, all the notifications on, while we are working, we have a tonto, and then we go and see what happened. Now, let us just go back and remember our parents, they remembered all the phone numbers, even we did for some time. We are also that generation where we remembered phone numbers, everybody's phone numbers along with the STD code. That this is the STD code for Bua, this is the STD code for this, with this 5 numbers and 6 numbers. They had 2 numbers, we remembered that as well. Now, if I change my phone number, or if my son changes my phone number, I need to say, wait, I'll see and tell you what is the number. we don't remember that number. We have to consciously learn now. Okay, the number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. पीछे क्या था? 6 था, 7 था? Even our car numbers. People don't remember. This is a new car. I don't know. I have to see. See? So why is this happening? Why is this happening? We need to really be very careful about it. So technology is not bad at all. It's about how we are using it and how it is affecting it. We are supposed to be the ones who are supposed to take care of this box. But the thing is that this box is now taking care of us. There have been cases wherein a girl, she hit her mother with the griddle and the mother died. Noida, 2-3 years back. Just because she was taking her phone away from her. Is it not worrisome? It is worrisome. We have internet de-addiction centers. We have one in Safdarjung. Right? So where are we heading? Even this happens with us. If you are watching something, somebody says, wait, what is important? The human to human connection, the relation, or the device, or the thing that you're watching? Why is this happening? Very simple biological explanation. There's something called dopamine. We know that. Do you know about dopamine? What is dopamine? Yes, makes us happy. Makes us happy. It's a reward seeking chemical. It just keeps you saying, no, you will get it. Do it. Don't stop. You will get it. Do it. So then we talk about when all these substance abuse, when we talk about alcohol, what is the thing? Same thing. Dopamine is there. It says that, okay, if you will have it, you'll feel very nice. Have it. Your brain keeps prompting you. So an alcoholic is never able to leave it. So same with smoking as well. It gives you that pleasure. Yeah, you keep doing it. This is what is happening here also with our phones. Dopamine rush. Do it. You'll enjoy it. Do it. You'll enjoy it. Have you ever seen? I mean, if I go on scrolling, it takes around 1 hour, and then I realize, oh my god, I've spent 1 hour doing this. I am taking a cybersecurity session, but I'm still into that trap, despite taking a cybersecurity session. That's basically all about emotions. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling less stressed. Let me see it. Right? That's dopamine rush. Basically, that's working. So very important for us to understand that why we have to adopt digital detox in our homes, families, school, everywhere. If a child sees you using phone and you said, why are you using your phone since morning? They'll seriously say, you're also using your phone. Now if you want to justify that to them, see, I was working for 8 hours. I've just come back. I'm just looking for 5 minutes. It doesn't matter to them. They are not that sensible. For them, the point is you have your phone and you're watching. For what hours, that doesn't matter. So we need to actually do what we want the others to. There was this joke that someday on a table, everybody, when they used to sit and eat together, the child used to use phone more often while eating as well. So one day the Wi-Fi connection broke, and then the next day he wrote on his Instagram post, I got an opportunity to sit and eat with my family, and finally I realized that they are good people. That is the situation. You don't know about your family, yeah.
एक बच्चे को सोशल मीडिया में कब उनका अकाउंट खोलना है, उनका एक जो नियम होता है वो किस एज से होता है?
सर फेसबुक तो 13 बोलता है, पर होना नहीं चाहिए 13 भी, 13 भी नहीं होना चाहिए भाई. अगर हम
जीमेल अकाउंट भी चाहिए ना, जीमेल लेकिन 13 के लिए नहीं है. जीमेल अकाउंट खोलने के लिए तो आपको मिनिमम आई थिंक 17 या 15 लाइक दिस.
मतलब नहीं खुलना चाहिए. बस करते क्या है ना, people they just change their change their age. Children make account, they change their birth date, they know they are very smart, but they should not, sir. You should see that European countries are strictly, yes sir.
हमारे एनईपी में और एनसीएफ में कहा गया था कि मतलब स्टैंडर्ड सेकंड तक बच्चे को आईसीटी का यूज करना ही नहीं है, लिखा है. और हमारे चैनल है जो फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड और सेकंड स्टैंडर्ड का लाइव ये करते हैं, टेलीकास्ट करते हैं. तो कौन देखे? नहीं टीचर्स के लिए
टीचर्स है ना, वो
टीचिंग के बच्चे का कंटेंट. तो फिर वो चैनल कौन देखेगा? बच्चे तो देखेंगे. तो फिर हमसे शुरुआत करनी होगी. We should start first from ourselves.
Very valid point, sir, and absolutely. The point is
when
ki
it is mentioned on NEP, in spite of it is mentioned on NEP, we are not following. Then who should follow it?
I agree. I agree with the fact that, as sir said, it is for educators. It should be then strictly informed or made in a way that it is only for educators. And then, of course, not students. I agree, sir. कितना रोकेंगे? वो बोलेंगे ये तो दिखा रहे हो, वो क्यों नहीं देखने दे रहे हो? Of course. Next. So, how do we ensure psychological well-being in digital space? One, limiting phone notifications. For every app, you don't need to have a phone notification. You might need for WhatsApp, maybe because your head might just send a message, something in the family. Okay, but for other apps, you don't need a notification. Then limit passive media time. Just when you're not there, you're not into anything, but you're just scrolling, mindless scrolling. Don't do that. Find other things to focus on: reading, moving around, having fun. Then set aside time to relax and connect. You have to do that. You have to do that, right? So FOMO, we have to replace FOMO with JOMO. What should be JOMO? If FOMO is fear of missing out, what would be JOMO? Right. Joy of missing out. Let's enjoy missing out on things. So that is JOMO. And then social effects of the digital space is echo chamber. If you are using your phone and you are searching for some kind of information about something maybe, so all the time you will see the information as per your liking. That's very dangerous. In the real world, we are allowed to have different perspectives, different opinions, and even then we coexist, we live together. But if you have people who always see what they think is right and they do not get a second perspective, that actually nurtures a narcissistic society. When people think what they think is right, the others think they are wrong. So echo chambers. So there's this organization called Center for Humane Technology. Center for Humane Technology has been started by a Google employee who was a whistleblower, Chris Harris. He talks about everything, and there's a documentary called Social Dilemma on Netflix, wherein they tell how these companies are actually competing for your attention. They don't charge even a penny from you. You're using Facebook free, you're using everything free. What they're charging is your attention. They're making you addicted to them. So it's a very good documentary. If you get time, if you want, you can show your children as well in school. It's a very, very good documentary. They've covered everything, social dilemma, right? So, and to ensure social well-being, we have to be mindful of what we forward. Don't believe on everything. Don't keep forwarding. Just, for example, my mother-in-law once said that if I will have jamun every day, I will not have diabetes. Like, Mama, I agree. Ayurveda says so. But if you will not have medicine, and if you will only have jamun, it's not going to cure. No, I don't want to have medicine. No, please. No, see, this video, they are telling this. Like, Mama, it's a different channel altogether. Don't go into that. Listen to the doctor. So don't keep forwarding anything just because you think it's right. You are actually associating it itself. Don't. Factual, you have to check its factual correctness. Then making a habit of checking multiple websites to ensure you are getting complete and objective information. Someone says something, go and check. There was one news. National Anthem of India has been given the first position among the all the national anthems of the world, and everybody was forwarding. I was like, wow, ऐसे national anthem competition कब से होने लगा? And this is so dangerous. National anthem. Then I checked. It was a fake news. Then interact with people of different perspectives and take care to discuss new ideas with facts, patience, and respect. We have to listen to everybody and we have to be patient. We need to teach and understand that everyone has a perspective, and we should appreciate and respect that. Next, remember that just because you want something to be true doesn't make it a fact. No. Then run a reverse image search. If there's some image you want to check, Google has an option of reverse image search. If you click on that reverse image search, you can put in the image that you are thinking. What is it about? It will actually run a factual check, and then it will say that it is fake or it is not fake. So it's a reverse image search. Ensure ethical behavior in digital space. Positively communicate. Use online medium in a respectful manner. Be courteous in communication. Avoid harming others. Be honest and trustworthy. Honor property rights and copyrights. Give proper credit for intellectual property. If we are using as teachers somebody's images, if we as teachers are using somebody's video, we should always cite the source. We should ask our children also to do projects in the same manner. If children are submitting their projects with all these sources and credits written down there, give them one extra point. If you do that, if you start rewarding this effort, then of course everybody would start doing it, right? Then safeguard your devices, share with care. You have to be internet smart. Don't fall for fake. Safeguard your secrets. And when in doubt, talk it out. If there is a problem, you have to talk to somebody you know, not some stranger. Digital arrays and everything would just go down. There was this one video wherein Narayan Murthy was saying that I have invested in so and so, you also invest, your money will be doubled, tripled. Narayan Murthy. It was actually a deep fake video where Narayan Murthy was speaking. Same with happened with Donald Trump.
Yes,
you know that. You know that how it is said that Russia meddled with their elections. We don't know. I mean, so digital platform is a very, very, very vulnerable, very vast, and a platform that has a lot of potential with respect to positives also and with negatives also. So we need to just keep that in mind. We have to be vigilant. That's it. I have to be vigilant. Each one of my things should be safe and secure. That way, we'll stay safe. Thank you so much. And with this, I end my session.
One suggestion. One suggestion from my side. Since you have talked about safety and security, I suggest since you might be giving lectures to so many people, I would like everybody to watch Adolescence. It's a Netflix series for just four episodes.
Yes.
I mean, it's an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Because generally we think we have given our kids some phones and laptops or whatever, but you never know because basically you are. I mean, you are basically. I mean, it's a very dangerous thing. I mean,
Yes.
and that movie is basically it's basically watched by every teachers and parents. It's one of the it's about
It has
digital
been
safety.
nominated for
Yes,
Grammy
yes.
as well.
Yeah.
And I would just want to add to what sir is saying. I have seen Adolescence. Now, what happens is we all of us have grown up with a personality. Somebody is introvert, somebody is extrovert, right? With boys and girls, when they enter their teens, that is a case always. Some are shy while talking to girls, some boys. Some other boys make fun of them that okay, see, nobody looks at you. And at that point of time, when we say, na, इसमें क्या बात हो गई? As a parent or as a teacher, नहीं, इसमें बात हुई. वो जो स्टेज ऑफ लाइफ में है, that is their struggle. हमें इसे रिस्पेक्ट करना है. वो अपनी आइडेंटिटी ढूंढ रहे हैं और वो चाहते हैं कि सब उनकी इज्जत करें. तो हमें उनकी हेल्प करनी है. उस मूवी में यही दिखाते हैं that how a boy he feels that way, but because of social media, he has a way of living a new avatar. People can have dual spaces now, dual personalities now. Something else there, something else here. So it's a very good movie. Thank you so much for adding it.
The gist about it is basically artificial. The gist about it is basically you have to use artificial intelligence or whatever avenue you're using as a tool, not as a crutch. Once you started using as a crutch, I mean, then the problem starts. I mean, basically you are what do you say? You are outsourcing your thinking abilities and critical thinking to a machine.
Yes.
This is what is happening now. So
I don't
thank
know
you so
how
much.
right I am or how wrong I am. I just don't know. I'm just making this statement. I believe that we have a tailbone, right? All of us have a tailbone.
Yes.
Everybody. So where is the tail? Where is the tail? We have a tailbone, but none of us have a tail. Why don't we have a tail?
The evolution.
Yeah, it fell off because it was not used. I saw somebody in Prayagraj during that Mela, Kumbh Mela, that he kept his hand like this for so many years and his hand was like a stick.
Yeah.
Because there is no blood circulation. This also needs, right? You need to use it. Use it the way our ancestors used, so that we do have the biggest brain, right? Most intelligent creature in this entire world. And now we are like using, and please go back and read about mold bots and mold books. Right now, you just go and tell your children about it, tell your, in your family, speak about it. Mold bots and mold books, a new system wherein these AI agents talk to each other and they discuss about various things and then they decide what action has to be taken. So my husband said, So he started thinking about it technically. I started thinking about it another way. Like, maybe someday if we have AI agents taking care of energy usage, and they want that no, Earth has to preserve energy. These people have to preserve energy. So they decide, okay, this family is using a lot of electricity. Cut connection. Now you keep switching on electricity because that particular bot thinks that you are actually using a lot of energy. We are going into a world wherein we'll have a lot of AI around us. It's just a fiction, it's just something that I say randomly. But the point is, what sir is saying, I'm trying to second that thought, that we cannot allow devices, this technology to control us.
Yes.
We have to control it.
Exactly.
Be more rational, be more stable, be more patient, and be more calm. Thank you. Have a very good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Please have a